Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? I want to thank everybody for tuning in and everybody watches the broadcast after the live stream. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe so can hit notification bell and know when I go live. Supposedly, they're supposed to notify you. I don't know whether they do or don't. But I don't know if you all noticed my thumbnail or not. It something I've been cogitating on. And the words on the thumbnail are those you trust the most. So, what do I mean by that? I'll get into that. Along with Chris Wray's testimony, I wanted to go back a little bit about Cheadle's testimony, the Patsy 2.0. We had a couple of patsies at least in this operation going after President Trump. One was the one who ended up with the instant dental extraction on the top of the roof and is no longer with us. And the second one was Cheadle. She sat there like a defeated, resigned individual who knew they were going to take a beating and use what I call the Comey tactics when people are asking you questions. And something I couldn't stand about Comey, I mentioned in the past when he was doing congressional interviews or testimony. Hi, Diane. Hi, Angela. Mike, how you doing? Nice to see you. Pappy Two Bears. Donna, nice to see you. Melinda, Debbie, Sherry, Flannel Cheese, nice to see everybody. So, but what is the Comey method? I think it was on some of the videos on the channel that got taken down. People would ask him questions. They got 5 minutes with him, 5 minutes. And they called him the Cardinal. And the first thing he'd say is, "That's a very good question." Tick, 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 the clock, the 5 minutes. "I appreciate that you asked the question." Tick, tick, tick. "I've been hoping that you would ask that very intelligent question." Tick, tick, tick. And so she pulled a few pages out of his book. But she was told ahead of time, you just go up there and take your beating, okay? And there's things she could have said in her own defense, but I think she knew ahead of time she was gone, she was finished, and she had no support. And there you have it. So let me say, hi, Wanda, nice to see you. Jersey Joe, Angela, let's see. Angel and Angela. Hi, Wayne. I'm seeing, I hope, yeah. Just check to make sure my signal's coming through strong. So anyway, in my title, I've got gutless cowards. And that's what Bibi Netanyahu said in his speech. They kept giving him so many standing ovations. He finally had to tell them, quit clapping and just listen to what I have to say. And so many of them boycotted Netanyahu. And one of them being Kamala, the wannabe future president. And we had an operation kick off with the mainstream media, Mockingbird media, right off the bat, that she was never a border czar, and there was never any such title. Well, I got a picture in my phone of a House resolution naming her the border czar, and they use the word czar. Imagine that, using a Ruski term for a position in the government, that the House passed a resolution, her name and that title, border czar. So we're heading these disinformation things so quick. And I tell you, in one video that I did where I showed the news feed on YouTube, where they have select clips going right to left, and you can take your finger and scroll the videos over to the left, and it's called something like latest news or something like that. Always full, where you can swipe, and always the top talking points, And I showed you how it went almost 24 hours with one stupid video. You went to swipe to the left, there were no videos. 24 hours, because they didn't know the talking points. With Biden resigning, Biden staying, none of them could take a chance. And that's the first time I've ever seen it. Well, they're getting their talking points now. That Kamala's coming on strong. Kamala raised over $100 million. Went from 81 million to over 100 million. Well, there's already people putting out things from videos where they got publicly available federal election reports that they have to file. They have to file who donated, when they donated, and how much they donated. Well, there's a lot of videos going around where they show, here's this lady's name, and say June 27th as an example. Like 25 times, $5. Same person, same address. $5, $5.26, $5.27, $5. And so they go to the lady's house and they say, did you know you were giving this much to Kamala Harris? She's an old lady. She said, yeah, I gave to Kamala Harris. What did you do these donations here listed on this day? And shows them. It's like 20 some donations. She said, no, that wasn't me. And they go to another guy. Here, you gave $200 in so many increments on one day, 10 different times. Why didn't you just send a lump sum? He said, what are you talking about? Here, it's this report from the Federal Election Commission. It's got your name, your address, and said you gave all these donations on the same day. No, I didn't. I remember that same thing the first time a campaign broke the $1 billion mark. Do you all remember which campaign broke the $1 billion mark for the first time? And it was rank and open law breaking by 501c3s, which are supposed to be non-politically associated. And nobody did a damn thing about it. To this day. Oh, that's good to hear, Diane. A pre-dawn raid on a 3.5 million Long Island home. Hi, Ravens. Hi, Debbie. Yeah, any of us could whip Kamala with one hand tied behind her back. So Ravens is here. Hi, Ravens. Benjamin. Doc. Phil. Nice to see you all. Yeah, Trump's going to meet with Netanyahu tomorrow. He was in receipt of a letter from Netanyahu, and he wrote a note back, very nice, saying, things will work out. Best wishes, Donald Trump. He's going to meet with Netanyahu tomorrow. He's already met with Zelensky. He's already met with, what's his name out of Hungary? Not Erdogan. But anyway, where did Kamala go? Where did Kamala go? I don't see anybody guessing which campaign broke the $1 billion mark. Where did Kamala go while Trump is meeting with world leaders? On RuPaul's drag show. That's where she went. RuPaul's drag show. So, yeah, the people can see that. And, you know, another thing that needs to be said more often for a lot of these, because, Diane, you're talking about that raid on Hochul's former deputy chief of staff. That reminds me of the raid on who's the one that used to be with Nixon and is with Trump now. Oh, man, it's right on the tip of my tongue, man. CNN was notified about that raid on, what is his name? It just almost came to me. Roger Stone, okay? When they raided Roger Stone's house, CNN was there with cameras. Pre-dawn, somebody gave him a heads up. Well, I don't think they got a notice of a pre-dawn raid on Hochul's deputy getting raided, okay? I guess that was this morning. But oddly enough, the rally where the attempt was made on Mr. T was the first time CNN ever covered a Trump rally. Ever. How many has he had? And it just so happens when they go to make a move on him, CNN is covering it. Live coverage. So, what does that tell you? Oh, Mike and Bev. Mike and Bev went by, buy me a coffee. I really appreciate it, Mike Bev. I'm on the big screen with Mike and Bev. And also Norm jumped in and on a day off and went buy me a coffee and got me some coffees. That's great. Norm and Mike and Bev sponsoring tonight's programs. Gary put the booms in. Boom, boom, boom. That's great. But anyway, so I heard people talking about Overwatch again. They are talking about it in terms of the state police being involved with the Secret Service. But I want to tell you that Overwatch is much more than that. And that'll come to light in the future. But I know that Patsy Cheadle, she mentioned Overwatch more than anything else. And the picture on the thumbnail, it's a picture I found that has 3 key ingredients. I'm not looking at it right now, but if you look at it, well, actually 4. The position, the roof that the shooter, shooter was on, and it also has the window, the famous window, where there was supposed to be state snipers, not Secret Service, state. It shows the appliance, the mechanical unit or appliance that was used to gain access to the roof with the associated piping. And it shows the water tower. all in one picture. So to take care of the Cheadle business, Patsy Cheadle, that's her new name, Patsy. She could have defended herself. It was stupid for her to say something about the slope of the roof. That might have been something she was told to say. Then there's conflicting reports that the person who was supposed to be stationed on that roof called in sick. Now they're saying somebody was supposed to be on that roof, but they switched positions because it was too hot. Whatever the case may be, the bottom line is, from that window, that roof was covered. The only time it was not covered was when they left their post. Somebody left their post. Maybe not both of them, but one of them left their post. The other issue is the water tower. I heard the rule was always you take the high ground. You get the highest vantage point. When we were watching the video of the body cam, Agent Harris or whatever with the black sunglasses said something about a drone and clearing the water tower with a drone. What does that mean? Does that mean there was no one up there at all? There should have been, if the rumored protocols are followed as far as taking the high ground. Somebody was saying that it's too narrow of a causeway wrapped around the water tower. You can just stand. You can't really kneel. You can't do it. Wait a minute. I know guys that got collapsible what do you call it? Tree stands for deer hunting. They can shimmy up a tree, and it's got grip hooks, it's got adjustable straps, it's got all kinds of stuff. It's rated up to 250 pounds, and you can sit up in a tree stand up in the roof, up in a tree, waiting for deer, bear, whatever. And when you're done, you can take it apart and bring it home. Now, I'm not saying they're going to use something like that, but they would certainly have the capability with tubular framing on the water tower or wrought iron or whatever it is to very quickly construct a platform, okay, that would be suitable for observation and counter sniping very, very easily. If that was the case, the railing around the water tower where people saw a person. Now, I saw a video where it shows an object or a figure up there. I don't know if that's been tampered with or not. I don't know. And I know I heard the agent say something about a drone clearing the water tower. It should have been taken by them. It should have been a posting put up there. But the bottom line, Patsy Cheadle, she could very easily have said that roof was covered by at least two people with a full view of the roof from that window, and why they left their post where we've yet to determine, or something like that. She didn't even do that. Oh, but the local police, you don't want, they're here, the local police, the state police, their task force, they said they worked under oath in Congress. They said they worked with the Secret Service over 20 times in coordination with rallies. This wasn't their first rodeo. So keeping an open mind Patsy Cheadle may have been too stupid to defend herself. And I'm not trying to be blithe about it or just insulting for the sake of insulting. She may not have been aware that that roof was under surveillance, proper surveillance. It wasn't the highest point. The water tower may have been a person up there authorized. It may have been a black hat. It may have been an altered video. I don't know. But what I'm saying is irrefutable fact for her defense would have been we had people stationed almost an arm's length of that roof in a second story window. Counter snipers that had full view of that roof to defend herself. She didn't do it because why? Was she told to keep her mouth shut? Did she not even know she had that defense? But it's wouldn't you agree that that is a good defense? It's certainly one I would have brought up if people were calling for my scalp. I'd send somebody out to take a picture from that post we had two people at, and of the whole roof that they could see it, and bring it to me. I want to show it at the congressional hearings. When they say, why wasn't that roof covered? I would show a picture of that roof. Here's the view from the window where we had two people posted, why they left their post. You could use a more dramatic term. They abandoned their post. Well, we got two stories about that. We got two stories. Ron Johnson had a breakdown that he got from my understanding was a timeline that the FBI helped put together. And they left the post about, I believe it was 10 minutes out. I've got it in my phone, the actual report, and I'll put it on a picture show. But they left and supposedly went running around, at least one of them, running around down on the ground looking for this character. Why? That's not your assigned location. You know, I could tell you stories about what happens to people when they, quote, abandon their post. So then they said two officers, one hoisted the other up to peek over the roof line, got threatened with the GUN, and then dropped right back down. Okay. Some are saying that wasn't the one who left their post to go down and run around the ground. Those were two other officers. There were also reported by the crowd Secret Service in their suits running around on the ground. The weak spot was when the observation from the elevation of the second floor window left their post. Now, when we were watching the, as you watch the body cam video, one of the state police tells the Secret Service guy in his suit, tells him, the guy over there, and he points right at the window and says the guy's name. Maybe it's blurred out, but he said he was in that position the whole time. Only one person. The second guy left and went down to the ground. All very stinky. Why she didn't defend herself by pointing that out, and why they did it in the first place, and how it's unclear who peeked over that roof line. And Trump made a point in an interview to say, we need to find out what they were doing, what they did, why when they hit the ground they didn't start yelling or screaming or doing something. And I said, blow a whistle, because that's what the police had been doing for 100, 150 years. You've heard it in the movies from the 30s and 40s, blowing the whistle. They didn't do anything. Well, it was seconds later the shots were fired. Well, it wouldn't have never been fired if you'd been where you're supposed to be and put one right in his backside. Nobody brings that up. Why? It's because they don't want to alienate the local police, the state police. They don't want to embarrass them, because everybody was saying the state police showed up at the congressional hearing, and they answered all the questions. Well, I remember when people were running around all hours of the night in suspicious vehicles and vans and hauling pieces of paper in Pennsylvania, MAIL trucks that were running around. You know, when somebody commits a crime, they go around, they look at door cams, videos from door cams, banks, Walmarts, ring cams. And they say, oh, here, so-and-so drove by this street at this time, and here he is on this street this time. Did they do anything about that in the wee hours of the morning, election night? So I'm just saying, those who trust the most and those who put on the biggest show of solidarity, the ones we're not supposed to criticize or look at with a crooked eye, I'm looking at with a crooked eye. I want to know what they're up to. Why did they abandon their post? How come they could, when Judge Alito, Supreme Court Justice Alito, put out a court order for the deputies to protect the BALLOTSs in Pennsylvania, and it didn't get protected, they got disturbed in violation of his court order? Were we supposed to worship that state bunch when they don't do any investigating about who was shuffling trucks around with ballots in them by the tens of thousands? And now they leave their post, and the President of the United States has a bullet in his ear, but they don't have any answers? Well, those you trust the most, I think, is someone rotten in Denmark. Yeah, extra tall Biden, I heard about that too. Yeah, that's right, Gary. She was kept out of loop. She's a fall girl. She was put in there a couple of years ago. Got the mushroom treatment. You all know what the mushroom treatment was. Keep them in the dark, and every now and then you throw a little poop on them. That's the mushroom treatment. Or she just was told to take your beating because you're out of here. Joe's out of here, and you're out of here because you failed. We failed taking out Trump. Because you look at that thumbnail picture, I was going to put up, instead of saying those you trust the most, I was going to put up all too easy. Now, the air conditioners he scaled were on the other causeway, on the other side of the building. But this picture I got is of the window where the counter snipers was supposed to be located, the air conditioners, so they could get right up on a little causeway roof, and the water tower very prominently on the other side of the building. Why was it so easy? Well, they had one of the people that were with the representatives, Larry, that went down to the site and walked the roof. Everybody knows about the guy was 70 years old, was up on the roof. But they had one of the aides or one of the people with the representatives did the exact same thing. Just jumped up on the air conditioner, grabbed a pipe or piece of gutter or something, and got right up on the roof like it was nothing. The little connecting roof, and then from the little connecting roof, got on the main roof like it was nothing. Now, the big stories flying around that Christopher Wray said they don't know if Trump got hit by a bullet or shrapnel. And there's a lot of videos come out making, creators come out making videos about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I listened to Chris Wray's testimony. And then you see the New York Post put out. Chris Wray said this, said he got hit by a piece of shrapnel. Wait a minute. I went back and listened to it. I have a transcript of it. I'll go over that with you. But it's just another crumb bum talking point that's thrown into the mix. The talking point that Kamala was never board czar and there was never such a post. That was spread all around by everybody. Trump wants to fire Wray because he said it was a piece of shrapnel. No, Trump said he should be fired because he did not notice Biden's decline. He said he noticed nothing unremarkable in his meetings. Trump said if he's too sorry to be able to spot a dementia patient, that's not his exact words, but he said he shouldn't be in charge of the FBI. So anyway, the business about the Christopher Wray saying that Trump got hit by shrapnel. That's not what he said. Where's that transcript? Here we go. What he said was, there are questions, okay? What he was alluding to was what was actually going on before the hearings. YouTube videos by the likes of Midas Trash, okay? And you can name all the propaganda psychos that get paid to put forth a foreign influenced narrative, a Marxist narrative to destroy the Make America movement, destroy that. Okay? You remember them all saying, might have been a piece of shrapnel, might have been he put a ketchup packet on his ear. All kinds of crap like that. So Christopher Wray started out his interview. He said, I guess my question, I think it's Jim Jordan. He was answering a question. He was answering a question before that. And his answer is funny. Just before the shrapnel part. He said, I don't have that in front of me right now. He said, I'll have to circle back to you. I'm playing devil's advocate because I have said, what does it take to make a good movie? Good actors. President Trump also called for the firing of Jeff Sessions. He also called for the firing of Bill Barr, or said he should have fired him. He didn't. They both resigned. But I'm just saying, Christopher Wray has got to play both sides. Why did he use the term circle back? I think that was a barb at Jen Psaki. Who uses that terminology as much as was made fun of and as ridiculous as Jen Psaki and Jean Pierre look when they say, I have to circle back to you. Circle back girl, we used to call her. So Christopher Wray put that in there. I thought that was a telling thing. Then he said, I'm happy to circle back and get that to you, assuming that information yet. As I said, I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear. He's referring, he says there is a question. He doesn't say, I have a question about it. He doesn't say the Bureau, the FBI questions it. He's saying there is a question whether it was a bullet or shrapnel. I read the transcript. I listened to Wray twice. I made sure the transcript matches what's coming out of his mouth. He never says that he is unsure. He's saying it's a question whether, not his question, all these narrative over the news and YouTube. But then he goes on to say, whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear. So it's conceivable, although as I sit here now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to, causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all the shots and the cartridges. So let's get that. It's my understanding that the very first one that was the one that hit the president is that very first shot. So if you read the transcripts that match the words that come out, I'm glad you guys are still here. My screen went blank. Yeah, ruh-roh, Jersey Joe. I'm back. Maybe it's because I used the word SHOT and didn't spell it. I don't know. The small channels they monitor, nobody needs to. I'm not one of these big shot channels. But I hope I didn't break that up too much so you all could follow it. Exactly what he said. He said the first shot was the bullet that hit Trump's ear. Now, earlier, he used the term graze, okay? That's semantics. The bullet struck his ear, penetrated his ear, left a 3-centimeter wound that granulated and was able to come back together or be pulled back together. And Christopher Wray never said it was shrapnel that hit Trump's ear. Donald Trump never said to fire Chris Wray because Chris Wray said he wasn't sure about shrapnel. Donald Trump said if he couldn't spot Joe Biden being totally blown out of his brain, then he should be fired for being unobservant or purposefully hiding the truth. So let me see. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Chris Wray never said. Chris Wray never said. Never said that. He said there other people are questioning whether it's shrapnel. So I had to get that off my chest. Now, after Kamala Harris stood up Benjamin Netanyahu, and he went and gave his speech, he mentioned, let me see if I can pull the exact quote up, at least the way it's put out, that the Iranians, oh, it's Creepy Joe. That's the wrong one. I don't want Creepy Joe. Sleepy Creepy. Here we go. Let me make sure I don't drop off again. I'm still there. There we go. Miss Mindersue. Yeah, I think Ray's a sleeper too, Miss Mindersue. I think he's a sleeper. He's very careful with his words. He said Joe Biden, his interactions were very professional. And he said when he was asked about Kamala being there, he said, oh, yeah, most of the time she was there. He was surrounded by handlers. You know, when Christopher Wray came in to brief Biden, that they told Biden to say as little as possible. They probably gave him cards with one, at the most, 2 questions, and the staff and the handlers sitting in on the briefing conducted most of the back and forth. And Biden, all he had to do was nod, stay awake, ask his 2 little the questions he had, his cards, and keep in mind, Trump hired Wray, who reportedly wanted that very same position as director of the FBI. Let me see if you all remember. No, Donna, he didn't fire everyone. Bill Barr resigned early to be with his family for Christmas, and Jeff Sessions also stepped down. He wasn't fired. Sherry got it right. Mueller was supposed to he wanted that job. Or Hillary and that nasty bunch wanted Mueller in. And then Mueller met with Trump and others. And I think that's a whole nother story. I think Mueller was the angel in the room that Donald Trump talks about when they were trying to do the Mueller report. All right, I have someone said, keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Going to buy me a coffee. And Mike and Bev said, we are with you tonight. Thank you, my man, for all your research and hard work. Thank you, Mike and Bev. So, Anyway, so you know that, hey, there wasn't any of this business of it's a new administration. I'm going to appoint my own FBI director, and none of that. Wray stayed on. Wray gave up a multi-million dollar job to be there. Trump's the one that put him there, and he's still there now. Just in case they think Christopher Wray is buddy-buddy with Trump, Trump comes out and says, "What a moron! Fire that moron!" Just like he did with Bill Barr, just like he did with Jeff Sessions. So to doubt what I'm postulating here, you would have to believe that for 10 years prior to Trump becoming president, while they were planning all this out, how to decapitate and extract the deep state with all the cronies and all the players. For 10 years, they were planning that out, that Trump wouldn't know who to put where. He just kind of ran around like a chicken with his head cut off, appointing people that were hostile to him. No. Why do you think we're always being told it's a show? Enjoy the show. But it's a dangerous show, okay? Very dangerous. Trump's called them evil. He's called them sick. This time around, he was interviewing Brett Barry, said they were trash. I can't argue with it. I'm sure some of them let him down, Kim. Some let him down. But the very key pieces, the very key positions, people talk about Mike Pompeo because he wore a boot, and they were thinking Mike Pompeo might be bad. Pompeo's out of Kansas. We were told trust Kansas. Now, could have been somebody trust somebody else. I don't know if that specifically means Pompeo. People saying, well, Mike Pompeo had to wear a boot because all the people that wore a boot, John McStain, right? Joe Biden wore a boot. Jill Biden wore a boot. How many people wore boots? Pompeo wore a boot. I think he was trolling them. Because like they say, we do a little trolling every now and then. We do a little trolling. So, Bibi Netanyahu said, if they do assassinate President Trump, which is always a possibility, I hope that America obliterates Iran, wipes it off the face of the earth. If that does not happen, American leaders will be considered gutless cowards. And Mr. T posted that on Truth and then Social. You'll find out about Flynn, Phil. Flynn's going to come back with a vengeance. He's already taken his slings and arrows. He's just waiting for the nod. The National Association of Police Organizations endorsed Trump. Kamala has no backup from police. And there's plenty of clips of Kamala saying to defund the police. Plenty of clips of Kamala saying to let people cross the borders. Plenty of clips of Kamala saying they need free health care. But you know what? These DIE hards or DEI hards, it doesn't matter what you show them. They are lost. And maybe they can pull themselves out, but it's not up to me. It's not up to you all to change these real kooks, because we showed them about Obama, about the Muslim Brotherhood and Obama, about the Bill Ayers and Obama, about his communist grandfather, on and on with Obama. So now they'll believe whatever the mainstream media puts out. We're just trying to get the rational middle ground people, to get them caught more and more in their lies. Well, Phil, you're talking about Flynn. He's sitting at home, you know. He's not in any position of power. He's not. He is waiting for orders. Chelsea had one, yeah. Pompeo said he wanted to get rid of Assange, Sherry. Donald Trump said he wanted to get rid of Jeff Sessions. Donald Trump said. Pompeo said he wanted to get rid of Assange. Where's Assange? He's free. He's alive. And don't forget Jeff Sessions, when he lost his bid to go back in the Senate, he said, that's okay. I've got plenty of cases I want to prosecute. And then he smiled, a little impish smile. So things may be closer than we think, especially about that raid on Governor Hochul's deputy commissioner or whatever they were. Yeah, jet lag, that's a good list right there, along with all the others we talked about. You got to play the game. You can't just say, hey, I'm Chris Wray with the FBI. I like Trump. I think he's done wonderful things for the country, and this, that, this. What do you think would happen to Chris Wray? That's why I think Patsy, the Patsy Cheadle, gave not 1 ounce of resistance. She gave nobody any guff. Every single member of the House, Democrat, Republican, all joined in and bashed her, and she sat there and took it. So we wouldn't be reading in the paper that she was so depressed about her failures that she committed you-know-what-aside. She's not going to deviate from that. She's going to play dumb, dumb, dummy and drift off in the sunset. Now they're saying there's a whistleblower out saying that somebody was supposed to be on the roof and then didn't do it because it was too hot. So we're gonna have conflicting stuff going on. Some people remember the biggest whistleblower. Every time you hear that term, that doesn't mean they're working for the good. They could be putting out, leaking disinformation or misinformation under the guise of trying to bust the FBI or whoever, the Secret Service or whoever. Because remember, the biggest whistleblower, to this day, I can't say his name. He's under protection by Adam Schiff, but his first name is Eric, and don't put it in the chats, all right? He was working at the White House. Chera is the first half of his name, and the second half is Mela, right? Was a protected whistleblower. What did he blow the whistle on? A BS, all right, recounting of the perfect phone call with Ukraine, that his version was discredited, but they still tried to impeach President Trump. So you think about that every time somebody claims they're a whistleblower. Hi, Richard. That's right. All of this follows police work. This is a a military police action, special military police action, following the RICO predicates. Corrupt organizations getting modus operandi, conspiracy, corroborating evidence, getting the whole network. Diane says 6,000 marshals sent to D.C. on Gateway Pundit. Well, they're going to try to pull something to claim that we're going to do something. They're going to get their, what do they call those guys that walk around with shields and khaki pants? I forget, and I don't care. But everybody knows they're feds. Anybody with a brain in their head. Now, Elon Musk came out and was talking about his daughter, his son, who is now thinking they're somebody's daughter, but is disavowing their father. Elon Musk said that his son was, for all intents and purposes, dead to him because he went down the wokey doke path, right? And transitioned. Talk about a creepy term that like a caterpillar going into a cocoon and coming out a butterfly. Some kind of magical thing where you transition and transform your being. Some supernatural belief in nonsense. I don't know if they went the whole way and had the Franks and beans cut off. I don't know. But Elon Musk is on a mission over that. He's on a mission over woke culture. He's joined in assisting Gina Carano in suing Disney. And for those of you who don't keep up with this stuff, I barely keep up with it. I keep up with it because I know it's a tactic to destroy our culture and to infiltrate the minds of our young. That's why I keep up with it. Gina Carano was cast in a Star Wars spinoff and was very well received by the fans. They finally started making money on the crap they were putting out. And Disney fired her. She put out a tweet saying how dangerous it was to get the young people to disrespect their elders. And she showed a picture from 1936 or 7, Nazi Germany, where kids were chasing a woman down the street and throwing rocks at her, which is what happened. And Disney fired her for her conservative beliefs, her traditional beliefs. So Disney made their first move to try to get the lawsuit thrown out. Elon Musk went all in on backing Gina Carano and suing Disney. Now you know why Elon Musk looked straight in the camera and said, F you, Bob Eisner. Okay? Did you hear me? F you. Because of what happened to his son. They will fall under the weight of their own illegality. I got a picture of his son who transitioned into a woman. And I was going to put that in the thumbnail because there's symbols in that picture. And I was going to say, symbolism will be their downfall. But I decided to go with those you trust the most. Because I'm giving a side eye to the top officials in the state of Pennsylvania, especially when they ignored Alito's order to protect the ballots. And they worked over 20 times with the Secret Service, and they dropped the ball so egregiously. As crappy as that security plan was, it would have worked if they had not abandoned their post. And that, to me, is inarguable. Because we saw the video, when you look out the window, you could see the whole roof. Let me leave this catbird seat and go running around on the ground when I'm supposed to have a sniper rifle. What you can do, run around the ground with a sniper rifle? That'll really, keep the people calm. But anyway, so Disney is the court threw out their motion to have the case dismissed. So it's going to go to trial. So some inside sources are saying that Disney's going to try to wave a bunch of money under her nose to just make it go away. You got Elon Musk backing you up and telling you, look, I want you to take Disney to the mat. Disney can't offer them the money Elon Musk would offer her. And don't forget the Alex Jones judgment of $1 billion. Don't forget Judge Erdogan putting us $750 million on Donald Trump. $86 million by Judge Kaplan for that crazy old bat with a 30-year-old lie. Watch out, Disney, it's coming your way. So the son, or the person claiming to be a former son of Elon Musk, where's that picture at? I thought, I shouldn't put the picture up. No, the hell with that. That's the way you want to put yourself out to the world, I will. With your name and everything. Your new name, Elon Musk's son, born Xavier. Now you know why he named Twitter X. His son was named Xavier, which is spelled with an X. Xavier. At birth, transitioned to Vivian Wilson now. Vivian Wilson. So Vivian Wilson put out a statement that said her father had been captured. Where is that? By a bunch of red-pilled, what did he say? Red-pilled conservative incels that are trying to guilt trip him, or something similar to that. I'll look through it. I don't want to drop off my yeah, Kim, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Well, in all honesty, if I was sitting down with Elon, and of course he likes to be thoughtful in his speech, he likes to, exude an air of deep thought and intellectual genius and all this kind of stuff. I just asked him a simple question: Did you ever read the Ten Commandments to your kid? Did you ever read Genesis? Did you ever? No, wait a minute. No, oh no. All these geniuses believe in alien life, uh, the mysticism of the mind being greater than that of the Bible, that the Bible is just a construct of man. And do you think he might think he's just too smart for the Bible, Elon? I don't know. I've never heard him ascribe to it, never heard him discuss it. But one of the commandments is honor thy father and thy mother. And if you'd have drilled that into your kid's head, he wouldn't be running around in a dress with long hair telling the public that there's something wrong with you and dishonoring you and your family name. I don't care how brilliant you think you are. You're not going to be more brilliant than the lessons in the Bible. But that's just me. Strategic bombers of the Russian Aerospace Forces and the Chinese Air Force performed a joint flight off the coast of the United States. That's in your territory, Gary, the Bering Straits up near Alaska. According to the North American Aerospace Command, NORAD, 2 Russian Tu-95MS strategic bombers and 2 Chinese H-6K strategic bombers were detected in the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. And guess what? Jets were scrambled. Jets were scrambled by the French and the United States. What the hell's French got to do with it? So, when did they do this, folks? When did they do this? They did last night, an hour before Biden's scheduled address, 7 o'clock, Washington time. Scrambling military jets. Biden gets up there, speaks for 12 minutes at the most, some say 11. No mention of it. Oh, that's because it's pre-recorded. Oh, yeah. A lot of people caught his watch. Maybe he forgot to wind his watch. Maybe the battery's dead in his watch. No, he pre-recorded that and he still screwed it up. So by the time they were playing that recording, by the time they completed it, this unexpected bomber run happens. So the Russian media put his address out. They didn't mention anything about the watch and the time being off by quite a bit. I think it was 6 o'clock. I don't know. I have to look at it, but they report Biden calls it quits. No mentions whatsoever his health or mental faculties. Claims he's resigning from the race in order to, quote, pass the torch to a new generation, but will stay in office till January. Biden visibly struggles through the 11-minute speech, slurring and stumbling over himself nonstop while reading the teleprompter. So you've got the Eastern news services see what everybody else is seeing. And Trump put out a statement saying, you got to be kidding me. Well, something similar to that. The news is actually trying to put out that Biden's speech was some kind of glorious, epic speech like Churchill or Roosevelt. And everybody else sees a doddering old fool, which is what he was. So the big talk was about how Obama wasn't going to back Kamala. They want to get their own person there. And don't forget those top positions. It's been put out publicly that Kamala's going to replace Blinken and Jake Sullivan and some other bonehead. Yeah, it might have been 5:10, Phil. It wasn't 8 o'clock. Kim said, 11 minutes of my life I will never get back. But since then, who reported that? Obama. This is Russian news. Plans to soon announce support for the candidacy of Kamala Harris. NBC reported. Advisors to Obama and Harris have also discussed the possibility of them appearing together on the campaign trail, sources said. Obama's wife, Michelle, also supports Harris. Oh, won't that be glorious? We'll have Obama, Michelle, and Kamala on the stage. Wait a minute. Did I say that name right? Because Jack Posobiec put this out. Thought crime. How do you say Kamala? So that's the new thought crime. You know, if you say Kamala wrong. I saw her in a speech where she was talking about the illegal aliens. She used the term coyotes. When every day we have these young children and helpless women being taken across the border by coyotes. And everybody's like, oh, sound the way you said coyote. You mean coyote? Potato. I mean, how that's just one more way to get people to cow down to their nonsense. I've always heard it Kamala in the news, all the news, and it's Kamala now. House resolution 253. If you're, I got a copy of it right here. Whereas on March 24th, 2021, Vice President Kamala Harris was named, quote, border czar, in charge of leading efforts to stem migration across the United States-Mexico border. That's House Resolution 253. If the crumb bums in the mainstream media want to keep up the lie that there was never a border czar position, she was never border czar, House Resolution 253. It's in the congressional record. Keep a copy of that. Well, Elon Musk's Xavier responded to his father saying he was spiritually dead as a result of the woke mind virus. Xavier, who calls himself, quote, Vivian, said his father is desperate for attention. Like his father needs attention. He's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate, red-pilled incels. That's the proper quote. I kind of paraphrase it. There's Kamala on the RuPaul drag show. Yeah, she's running for president. RuPaul drag. Kamala Harris is in favor of reparations for slavery. Boy, talk about buying votes. They're going to push forward with the quote debt forgiveness. They're not forgiving nothing. They're just dumping it on to everybody else. And all these Marxist colleges are going to get well, they are getting their money from the U.S. taxpayer solely. We're paying for our young people to be indoctrinated into communist and Marxist ideology through Yale, Columbia, Harvard, Broward. You go right on down the line. All right, folks. Yeah, I am going along. I've been doing that a lot lately. Been going over an hour many times. I see you guys are getting tired. Mike Johnson and other members of Congress replace American flags. Pro-Hamas Kamala voters tore down and burned today. It's like Trump was saying, if those were behaving that way, if those were conservatives behaving that way, they'd be in jail for years and years. But Biden isn't doing anything about it. Let me just check the chats here. I haven't checked them in a long, long while. Well, anyway, folks, I'll be going live. I should be going live tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for helping out the channel with Buy Me a Coffee. If you haven't given me a thumbs up, do me a favor and give me a thumbs up before you go. Make sure you don't forget to do that. And if you didn't like the broadcast, give me a thumbs down. Hey, let me know how you feel. And I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. All righty, folks. And I look forward to spending some more time with you in the future. And that being said, this is Mountain Man over and out.